Good morning, Leapers. Today, I'm at Marina Chiapas in the city of Tapachula, along the Pacific coast of southern Mexico, right next to the Guatemalan border, in fact. You know, this marina is really amazing. It boasts modern facilities while being surrounded by tropical landscapes. I think the marina's charm really lies in this harmonious blend of nautical elements with the natural beauty of the Pacific coastline. Let me show you this. My name is Rick. I got my sea legs when I was in the Coast Guard, and I commanded a boat much like this one. Today, I take my small sailboat on coastal passages in search of adventure. In this season, I'm heading south from Banderas Bay with the intention of returning to the Caribbean Sea via the Panama Canal. Living the pirate life. And I find myself taking inventory of my situation. Not so much, how far I've come, but what lies ahead. Of course, you get into the new year and you start thinking, okay, well, you can only go halfway into the forest. Once you're halfway into the forest, you're heading out of the forest. So the way I see it, I'm heading out of the forest in terms of this cruising season. As days pass now, we get closer and closer to hurricane season, or as I push further south, I'll be getting out of the hurricane zone and more into the rainy season. And there's a project that I have kind of put off because it wasn't urgent. But, as rainy season approaches, it's going to become more urgent. And what I'm talking about is this hatch right here over the V-berth. I picked up a spare ocean hatch from Lumar with the intention that I was going to replace it. A previous owner put in one of those solar fans, and you have to drill a hole in it to accommodate those solar fans. So it's probably been in there for 30 plus years and it leaks, and hey, we're going into rainy season. I sleep up there. So it's a priority for me. It's going to be a tough job, I think, because the people who put it in before me, they put it in with silicone. And so it's this solid bead, this solid cake of silicone that seals that thing in there. So it's going to be a pain, and it's going to take some time, and I'm going to have to be disciplined to get through it. So look, I can talk about it, or I can get started. I'm getting started. You can see what I'm up against right here. All of these gaps right in here, just completely packed with silicone. So it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt to get this out, but I'm going to tackle this job today. So first I'm going to remove these perimeter screws. So I have the perimeter screws out, and what I'm going to do is keep them in this plastic bag so they're safe, because the reality is you're going to probably have to need to reuse them in the new hatch. Now I'm attacking that silicone from the inside of the V-berth. I thought it was going to be worse, but that sealant is coming right out, actually. Okay. Woo! All right, well, that was pretty intense, and I'm pushing on that frame. It's still not coming up. So it's going to take a little bit more persuasion. Well, that silicone got everywhere, on me and throughout the V-berth. Oh yeah, I'm breaking out the big guns now. It's 2-pound hammer and putty knife time. Well, my friend Marcus on sailing vessel Neshuma was due to arrive this morning, so I decided to take a break and position myself over by the canal to film his arrival. Oh yeah, here he comes now. All right, well, I managed to get the hatch removed, so I'll show you how I did it. Getting these perimeter screws out is pretty easy. The challenge was getting these two and these two out that were in the hinge. They were securing the hinge, and the key to it, as it turns out, was this little piece of plastic, and this piece of plastic covers up this gap here. And so the bolts, there were bolts on the other side here. So this beauty ring, if you will, get in here and show you. Okay, there we go. So you see this wood ring that goes around? Well, there's a gap there. You don't actually have to take this wood ring off in order to remove this piece of plastic. You can work it in there, and this little piece of plastic just sits in there and covers up this gap, the gap between the top deck and the bottom deck. This is like a sandwiched thing. Okay, well, there's our first look. So there's the old one. Pretty nasty and old hinges with the big braces. Look at the new one. It just looks so much better. Yeah. My friend Marcus, who arrived earlier, tells me he has a lot of experience filling holes in fiberglass. I told him what I was up to, and he's interested in giving me a hand.
Come over inside.
Okay. Oh, yeah. When I arrived, Marcus was in the process of collecting whatever tools he thought might be necessary for the job.
The other day about safety wire pliers.
Oh, those are specifically for that,
Yeah.
huh? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, when you pull the wire and then it twists.
Oh, wow.
You can get some of those online. Oh yeah, here it is. But I took the whole thing just in case we need it. Did you know I take the whole thing with me? This is a multi-tool.
Oh.
So you can sand with it. You can also put a cutter on here.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it'll go, you can like right
Oh,
into
yeah.
the wood. Everybody should have one of these.
Back on Frog's Leap, our first order of business was to drill and bevel out these holes. With the holes prepared, we masked off the area that we were going to apply thickened epoxy to. And when we were ready to prepare the epoxy, when I opened the jar of catalyst, it had turned a dark brown color. That's not right. Well, something is not right about the catalyst. It's really dark brown. And I've used this before, and it wasn't brown when I've used it before. So Marcus is heading back to his boat. He's got some that we can use. We're not going to use this, but I'm going to have to do some research on whether or not this catalyst is bad, can't be used anymore. You know, if you know, leave it in the comments, because there's some question, you know, it's like, okay, it's a different color, but does that necessarily mean I can't use it? I don't know. So Marcus is preparing some of his West Systems epoxy and thickening it up, and we're going to apply it in those holes. You go thick, man.
If it's too thin, it'll sag.
Right, okay.
So yeah, I go thick. It's like three shots of this and 1 cup of, or one of these little, whatever they are, cocktail cups or something.
Gotcha. Ah, and we're gonna squirt it in there like frosting.
Like frosting, like we're making a cake.
Mm.
Got any other places you need epoxy?
Not that are prepped right now.
Well, better to have too much than not enough.
Oh. There's a lot of good technique you're showing. Love it.
Yeah, when you have a boat like mine, you got a lot of work, man, to do sometimes on stuff. This is just the way I learned to do it.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, it works.
One last wipe down with acetone before we put this thickened epoxy down in these holes. Well, with the epoxy down in each of these holes, now we're just going to spread it out and make it smooth. Now I'm just going to let her cure overnight and sand her smooth. The next morning I started bright and early to sand the surface that mates with this hatch nice and smooth. Well, then it's just a little tape removal and a little bit of wipe up, and then hey, I'm dry fitting this baby. Oh yeah, that looks great. Well, it's important to use brand new stainless steel hardware when installing a new hatch like this. So Marcus and I did a little hunting. With his excellent Spanish skills, we were able to find Tornillos San Cristobal. Yeah, this place has everything. So with new hardware in hand, it's time to start installing this new hatch. After drilling some new holes, we're laying down some butyl tape. Oh yeah, that'll keep the water out for sure. And with the butyl tape in place, oh yeah, it's time to set her in there and secure her to the deck. Well, the key here is to start with the more difficult hinge bolts. Get those hinge bolts in place and then go around the perimeter with the screws. Yeah, sailors helping sailors, Marcus. We're living the dream, my friend. Oh yeah, look at that. Looks amazing. I'm absolutely thrilled. For real-time updates, check out Sailing Frogs Leap on Instagram.